Senior political analyst David Gergen, political analyst Roland Martin, and Ari Fleischer, former White House spokesman for President George W. Bush. Roland, what do you make of this? Is this much ado about nothing? I mean, the amounts that we're talking about that Gary, was uncovering those checks written, with campaign funds were pretty small amounts.
3 words: integrity, credibility, and honesty. When you have people in the Tea Party who are protesting, who are saying the President of the United States and this Congress is lying, when they're saying they cannot trust the word that's coming out of elected officials, these are some critical matters. And I think Sarah Palin is disingenuous and she is ridiculous to assert that you should only talk to Fox News and you should only talk to friendly people. If McDonald wants to have the integrity and be a member of the United States Senate, she should have the guts to stand in front of the media and answer these questions. If she has a plausible answer, fine, give it, but stop trying to run from it, deal with it head on, and not ignore it.
Ari, what about it? Is this just sort of nitpicking by Democrats?
Well, no, I think these are issues that she's going to have to deal with. That's what campaigns are about. But I think what's also going on here is 2 things. One, in a year in which people are really fed up with the excess spending, the huge amounts of government waste, and the big debt our country has, these personal foibles that somebody has become side issues because people are really focused on the bigger policy issues, and I think that's what's driving in Delaware. But there's another factor, Anderson, that riles up the conservative base of the Republican Party, and it's the mainstream media. I think there's a real sense here that this is overkill. Where is the coverage of Charlie Rangel's win in Harlem, where you have one of the most corrupt members of Congress who got reaffirmed by the people of his district to come back to Washington? What does that say and mean about the Democratic Party? And when it comes to all the gaffes that she was making in her statements, if gaffes would disqualify you from office, Joe Biden never would have made it to the vice presidency. But he gets a pass from most of the National Press Corps. I think there's also a strong sense of the conservative base of the party that when these things happen to conservatives, particularly women candidates, Sarah Palin and now Christine O'Donnell, there is a piling on factor that doesn't similarly happen when there are candidates on the other side of the aisle.
David, do you think that's true?
Do I?
Yeah, do you?
No, not really. My friend Ari and I disagree on some of this. He talks about flaws. These are not flaws. These are fundamental issues. This is a candidate who's had trouble with money, trouble with jobs, trouble with the truth. And those are pretty fundamental to any candidacy. I think the interesting thing, Anderson, in all of this is the Republicans brought up these issues during the campaign. Mm-hmm. The Castle campaign ran against her based on a lot of this, had advertisements bringing us to public attention. I think it's a measure of how angry the people in the Tea Party are, how frustrated they are, that they were willing to overlook all this and say, we still want to send a message.
But that's the point I'm making. These are legitimate issues she has to deal with. But when an election is driven so much by substance and policy, the spending problems in Washington, that's, I think, why people are willing in an election cycle like this to not weigh those measures as seriously as they normally do.
Roland, we got to take a very quick break, but we're going to have our panel continue just on the other side of the break.